Hello, my name is Martin Yirenda, and today I'll be showing you how to integrate dicomweb and Weasis viewer. So what we're going to be using to integrate dicomweb and the Weasis viewer is dicomweb, which uses the REST API of dicomweb. So in this type of setup, we don't require any installation on the server side, so it's pretty much the easiest and fastest way of getting or integrating Weasis and dicomweb. So without much further ado, maybe before I go forward, I just want to point out that I'm currently looking for a job or any type of work that you might have for me. So if you have got any opportunities, I would be glad to hear from you. Okay. Yeah, so let me continue on to our tutorial today. So the version that you need for our tutorial is for installation, I mean, of dicomweb. So the version is 5.2.2, which is this one here, and the newer versions. Yeah, so in this tutorial I won't be going deep into the specifics of installing it on your machine. You can go to the dicomweb repository and find the instructions there. The other thing that you have to install is the Weasis viewer. So you have to install it on your local machine. I'll put the link to the viewer in the description below. Okay, so first thing, that's our step one here. I've also written a blog post which I also link in the description. You can go and look at that as well. Whilst you are you're watching the video, or you're doing the setup on your own, to be much better that way. So step one, I have already opened a tab here that has got the dicomweb UI. So the next thing that you need to do to set up or to configure Weasis is click on this button here. Then you go to your configurations or configuration, whatever. From there, we're going to choose the device name DCM4CHEE Arc. So we're going to select that. So we'll just give it a moment to load. It's taking a while. Yeah, so here we're going to go on edit extension. On edit extension, the next screen that it brings you is this, and then here you're going to go to child objects. Under child objects, you're going to come here to select a web application, and the web application you're going to select is dicomweb here. So we just scroll down and come to this part here, which says web application property. For me, they've already been filled in, so let me just remove them for now. So for you, if you haven't set up anything on the web application property yet, it will look something like this. So you need to enter these URLs here. So the first URLs that I've put here are for a secure installation, where you have keycloak as security of your archive. So if it's not secured, you use the the URLs here. So you have got those two you can choose from depending on your setup. So for me, it's a secured archive, so I'll be using this. So I'm going to copy the first one here all the way to the end there, copy, then I'll paste it here under web application property, and that's one done. So we're going to add another one. Okay, so we add another one. This is for patients. And finally the last one, add the last one here. Okay, so there are some changes that we need to make to these URLs. So for your this will depend on your setup of dicomweb. So for me, my URLs are on port 8080. So the reason why I'm using port 8080 in this case, even though I have a secure installation of dicomweb, is because Weasis does not use the how can I put this, the certificate that is generated on your local machine. So you need a real valid SSL certificate. So I don't have one, so I'll be using the non-SSL HTTP request, which is not recommended for production setup, but for this case, since this is just testing, this is great. This will work for us. So you have to set this up for yourself. So make sure the domain and your SSL are valid, and you will be good. So we have to do the same thing for this other URL here. Okay, so remove the S from there. Localhost 808. So pretty much in this case, it looks as if it's how can I put it, it's for an unsecure setup. But then the difference between an unsecure setup and a secure setup of dicomweb, if you are integrating with Weasis, is that for the secure setup, you have got this header here, authorization, which includes the access token that you have signed in with here on your dicomweb. Yeah, so even the second one has that as well. And then if you compare those to these, you can see that they don't have the authorization header there. So yeah, so after that we go back to our dicomweb UI and we press on save. Okay, we'll just give it a moment to save and reload. Okay, device saved successfully. So now let's give it a moment to reload. Okay, reload successful. So we go back to our navigation, so it will bring us to our studies here, and I've already picked dicomweb there as the web service, and press on submit to get our studies. Yeah, so now we have our studies here. when you come to click on the three dots there, it should show you this eye icon. That means you have successfully integrated Weasis and dicomweb. Then it's not the full setup yet though, but this just shows that whatever you have done in the configuration part was somehow correct. So when I click this eye icon, it should open Weasis, and it has. So now here in Weasis, depending on the setup, it might load and might not load, but in my case it has loaded the study. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. You might come across some errors, like for example, if your SSL wasn't valid, it won't work. Yeah, that's pretty much one of them. So there are quite a number of issues that you might come across, and a good place to start if you have got any issues is come to your where is that? So come to your preferences. Just wait for that. Then you go to login and you tick the rolling log there and leave that, and leave everything else as it is, and close that. Then you click on open login folder. This will open a folder that includes your log files here, and you choose the default log. This log shows you if you have had any errors at all. So this is what it has pretty much done every single time I've opened Weasis. So if any errors occur, you can just come here and check what has happened, and that will guide you to find an answer to whatever issues you might have related to this same issue. Yeah, and that's pretty much for my tutorial. And once again, I would like to point out that I'm looking for a job, and it would be great if someone gives me a job or some work. Yeah, thank you.